So set 5 of Disney Lorcana Shimmering Skies is officially been announced. It's going to release in hobby stores on August 9th, 2024, and everywhere in mass retail on August 23rd, 2024. So let's dive in. So as you can see, we are here on the official site for Disney Lorcana, and we are looking at Shimmering Skies set 5. So let's go ahead and scroll down. So as you can see, we are getting Wreck-It Ralph. Fantastic. So we've got our racers here. And let's look at our product. So of course, we've got our booster box. So as you can see, we've got Maui, Vanellope, and Chef Donald with Elsa and Scar down here. You guys know how boxes work by this point. I really like the art on the box. I think that looks really good. And then for our starters, so we have a Ruby Amethyst. Of course, everybody knows how great that deck is. Featuring looks like Ralph and Elsa, and then Emerald and Steel, which of course is a meta deck right now. Looking at you, Diablo and Bucky. But we got Scar and Krunk on the cover. So I think these are two great ink combos. Quite honestly, I'm actually really excited about it, and I'm curious what the deck lists are going to look like. But I think these are good choices. Then we have our Trove, again with Vanellope, Maui, and Donald, Ralph, and Scar on the side. See, do they talk about it? No, okay. And then, of course, we're getting portfolios. So we have, of course, a set one style with Moana, Wayward, Mickey, and Cruella with the ink symbols on here. And then we have the generic inkwell with the ink colors and emblems on the side here. Personally, if I was going to get one of these, I would get the generic one. This one is fine. I'm sure it's going to look nice, but I personally like this one the best. And then for the sleeves and deck boxes, so they are doing Tiana and Aladdin. So if you guys watch the LoreCast, you obviously probably know about that, but just want to cover everything. And then we have something that a lot of you have been asking for, and that is for the back of the card to finally get on a sleeve, and your Ryan and the team listened, and there you go. You guys are getting that. They don't have the mats on here. I'm going to go to the LoreCast video and show that off. So I'll hold off on that. But they did show off some cards, so we're going to talk about those real quick. So first up, we have Vanellope Von Sweets. So Sugar Rush Champ. So Inkable 1, 2/2 with a Lore Pip. A pretty base one cost. I love that she's inkable. I love the art. Of course, she's got her princess tag, so go right into a princess base deck. She's a hero. Get support with Phil. And then the new trait that's been added is Racer. So curious if there's going to be something in the set during the reveal season that has to do with the Racer tag. But because all the racers are in here, we're going to look at them here in a minute. Elsa the Fifth Spirit. I really love this card. So there's Frozen 2 support in here. So we have Elsa the Fifth Spirit. So she's Dreamborn Hero, Queen Sorcerer, 2/5 with a Lore Pip, 5 cost inkable. Super rare. Everything's fantastic so far. Rush and Evasive, just like I talked about with Peter Pan in my top 10 Amethyst cards in Ursa's Return. Click the card up there to check out that video. Rush and Evasive on one card is so fantastic. I love these dual keywords being on cards now. Evasive, as you guys know from gameplay, can be very tricky to deal with. And the more cards that you have with Evasive, obviously, are good. It's a good way to get them off the board. So her ability is called Crystallize. When you play this character, exert chosen opposing character. So I view her as like an upgrade of the stat 1 3 cost Elsa. because obviously that card exerts as well, but you have to exert her to do that. So I love that she has a ETB effect on top of having rush and evasive, and the art on this card is fantastic. Our next card is Krunk, Head of Security. So he's a Floodborn ally captain, non-inkable 7. Shifts for 5, is a 6/6 with a lore pip, so he's a thick, beefy boy. The captain trait is interesting, but it makes sense if he's like the head of the security. He's a captain, and then his effect is: Are you on the list during your turn? Whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you may play a character with a cost of 5 or less for free. So this is very interesting. I definitely think he's going to see play. He's another super rare. I just noticed that. Um, I definitely think he has potential, especially with being in steel. There's a lot of things he can get out, and that's great. Free play in any game is obviously a very powerful mechanic, and I think Frunk is very good. And then it's also funny that he's leaning on a lever. Our next card is a legendary, and that is Donald Duck Pie Slinger. So he's a inkable 5-cost Floodborn hero and a knight, which is interesting. He has 3 strength, 6 willpower, and a lore pit. He shifts for 4. He has 2 abilities, and the first one is Humble Pie. When you play this character, if you use shift to play him, each opponent loses 2 lore. So again, in multiplayer, that's fantastic. And then, kind of like with the Ruby legendary Mulan Elite Archer from Ursula's Return, they're continuing the theme of utilizing shift and getting a ETB effect for utilizing shift, which I think is really cool, and that seems to be Ruby's identity. And then his second ability is Raging Duck. While an opponent has 10 or more lore, this character gets plus 6 strength, so that would take him to 9, so he'd be a 9/6. Obviously, Donald can deal with practically everything in the game at that point. That 6 willpower, as you've seen with Hiram Flabbersham, is very powerful. And yeah, this card is very good. I really like him. And is that it for here? Okay, so that's it for here. And then this is my first time looking at the site for this. So, all right, so now we'll go through what's here. So we have our next racer, Taffeta. So a inkable 2-cost Storyborn Allied Racer, 2/2 into Lore Pip. Again, a low to the ground aggro quester, so it seems pretty good. Next up, we have the villain of the movie, Turbo. Storyborn villain, Racer, non-inkable 2-cost, 2/3 with a pip, has Rush, and then his ability is Game Jump. This character also counts as being named King Candy for Shift. So that's very thematic. If you've seen Wreck-It Ralph, you'll understand why. If you haven't seen Wreck-It Ralph, go check it out and then revisit this card. I don't want to spoil Wreck-It Ralph for you if you haven't seen it. But yeah, again, leaning into Ruby's identity. 2-cost character like the Queen of Hearts that has Rush, fantastic. And I really like the ability that says that there's King Candies coming in reveal season, which would make sense. And then next up, we have our next racer here. So we have Rancis. He is 4 inkable 4/4/1 Storyborn Ally Racer. So he's a beefy vanilla boy. He's fine. I think if you want to go like a dedicated racer deck, you'd obviously play him. Next up, another Taffeta. This one is 1-cost inkable 1/2 with 1 Storyborn Ally Racer. And then her effect is Showstopper. When you play this character, if you have a location in play, each opponent loses 1 lore. Okay, so this card is pretty interesting. So obviously you could go, so you're playing Ruby Amethyst, you have your Queen's Castle in play, then you play this card, and yeah, then you make your opponent lose 1. That seems pretty good. Be a way to hold off your opponent and then utilize Queen's Castle and goats, and as you guys know, be a good way to swing the game. And then, yep, we have our next racer here. I don't want to butcher names. I'm not even going to try that. So 3 costs, non-inkable, 2, 4, and 1. Another character with Rush. This character pretty much will survive, but yep. Now we have another Vanellope, non-inkable 4, cost 3/3 with 2 lore pips. So she has Rush, maintains her princess tag, and then her ability is Pixluxia. When you play this character, she gains evasive until the start of your next turn. Again, another way to deal with cards that have evasive. I love Ruby having Rush. The 2 lore pips are great. That's a rare, so I think this is a very solid rare. And then I think the last card we have on this list is another Taffeta, 4 costs, Inkable, Bloodborne, Ally Racer, 3/3, and a 1 lore pip. It's just for 2, and then her ability New Roster once per turn. When this character moves to a location, gain 2 lore. So first off, I love the watermelon design. That's pretty funny actually. Instead of her having her kind of like gumball, like sugary candy design going to a watermelon design is pretty funny. But yeah, so going off a pure like location base, so say think like the Ruby Steel Pirate deck that plays a lot of locations with like the Jolly Roger, now probably like Snuggly Duckling, RLS Legacy. It's very like thematic. You could have her, bounce around and go into like different tracks basically, and then you're gaining 2 lore that way. Even if you go Ruby Amethyst, obviously Queen's Castle, but you could do something like Snuggly Duckling, even Training Grounds, just a way to keep shifting back and forth. The Bayou, if you want to go Steel again. I think she's pretty interesting. And is that it for the site? Yeah, I think that's it for the site. And now I wanted to touch on the video that Ravensburger released. So, as Ryan described in the LoreCast, Ursula's been defeated, and this is now a celebration. So we've got like Naveen. There's obviously Goof. There's a food fight that breaks out. Ryan said because of Goofy. I love this shot of Hades and Herc. We have Gazelle, of course, from Zootopia. So as you can see, we are having a massive celebration here. And not going to go quite through everything, but the fun part is here that Ryan said that there's pieces of the great Illuminary breaking off. So from a lore implication, I'm curious what that's about. Of course, Ralph's like, I didn't do it. Merlin is fantastic. We're going to pull his card up here in a minute. But this card is insane. There's more Basil, Kronk. So now, as you guys can see, going back to the Trove, we, of course, are getting our packs, our lore counter, but they are going back to the ink dividers. I thought the rarity dividers for Ursula's Return Trove wasn't the best idea. It was something different, but I really prefer, I separate my commons and uncommons in Troves, and so I love to do it by ink and alphabetically from after that. So it's a good way to sort and store. And then let's get to the big item you guys are waiting for. Here we go. All right. So there's the back. And here's what we didn't talk about before. So the playmats, obviously this is the one I think everybody's going to want, is the Bell Accomplished Mystic, the SR from Ursula's Return. Talk about this card and that previously mentioned top 10 Amethyst cards in Ursula's Return. Yes, the art on this mat is fantastic. I definitely think this, of the 2 mats, this is going to be the one that sells out. No shade on the other mat, but this art is phenomenal. It's personally not for me, but I know there's a lot of fans of Belle and of Beauty and the Beast, and just of this art in general. I love the rose petals. You got the Beast. I guess you'd call that a brooch or pendant. The rose lantern. It's a phenomenal mat. And then the other one is for the Madrigals with the art from Look at This Family. So yeah, obviously I think this one's going to do very well too. But just I think the Bell one has more going for it. Nothing against Encanto or um, this art in particular. That card is insane, but yeah, I just think between the two that is the one that's going to do better. Okay, so our first card is a 3-cost sinkable Ruby Wreck-It Ralph, Storyborn Hero, Vanilla. Actually, it's not Vanilla. His ability is whenever you ready this character, gain 1 lore for each damage on him. And then he is 1 string, 4 willpower, and a lore pip. He's a rare, so pretty decent rare. Do some self damage, and then at the start of your ready step, you will gain lore. So again, another good way for Ruby to get some additional lore. Or you could even like boost him with challenging. Go from there. So we have, oh, there we go. So there's a better look at Ralph. I think we have Penelope. We already looked at the shift one. Okay, and next up we have Bad Anon Villain Support Center. So we have a location here. So 3-cost sinkable, movement cost of 2, willpower of 7 with 1 lore pip. And then there's no one I'd rather be than me. Villain characters gain exert and pay 3 ink. Play a character with the same name as this character for free while here. I have to try that out in testing, but it seems pretty interesting on paper and in concept. This is a rare. So, yeah, that seems intriguing. Okay, the next up we have Bruni, Fire Salamander, and Amethyst is a 4-cost sinkable Storyborn ally, 2/2 with 2 lore pip, evasive. Then when this character is banished, you draw a card. So he's pretty low statted, but has good lore pips, evasive, which I love, and a Cusco effect of drawing. So not terrible, not terrible. Next up, we have a card that I'm really excited for. As a native Steel Slam player, we have Kristoff, Reindeer Keeper. He's a Dreamborn ally, 3/7 with 3 lore pips, 9 cost, non-inkable, but the effect is fantastic. So, Song of the Herd. For each song in your discard, you pay 1 less ink to play this character. He is a Chernobog for songs. So, Steel Song, eat your heart out. I'm a natural Steel Song player, and he has Bodyguard. I really like this card. I think Steel Song is the ideal deck for him. But yeah, I think he's great. Now we got Bruni. All right, so we have another location, and it's the Great Illuminary itself. It is a sapphire location, 3-cost inkable with 2 cost to move and a 9 willpower. This 9 willpower in locations has been insane. But the ability Warm Welcome, characters with support get +1 lore and +2 willpower while here. So yeah, if you want to utilize support, i.e. like the Merlin from set 1, it's a great way to help keep them around because obviously they have to exert to utilize their effect. Also, does anyone else feel like this here looks like either a Pokeball or the Death Star to keep it on brand? Just me? Okay. And did Ryan show anything else? Yes, here he is. All right, and then as we saw from the starter deck, here is Scar. He's a Emerald Rare. He's 4-cost inkable, and he is a Storyborn villain, 4 strength, 2 willpower with the lore pip, and the ability of Ward. So that's pretty good. And his ability is Life's Not Fair, is it? Whenever one of your characters challenges a damaged character, you may draw a card. This seems really good in Steel, and I understand why it is in the starter that it is in. I love the art on this card too. As you can see, there is the emblem of essentially Simba, and he's crossed him out. Yeah, I think it's great. I really am looking forward to testing this card in Emerald Steel. And is the Merlin on here? Ah, yes. Okay. So Ryan talked about this card that he's been wanting to show it off and talk about it for a while. We have You're Welcome. So it's a Emerald 4-cost sinkable song. Shuffle chosen character, item, or location into their player's deck. that player draws 2 cards. So, yes, you are giving your opponent 2 cards. However, with how prevalent locations are being, you are able to get rid of things like the Queen's Castle, things like McDuck Manor, even like a location we just saw, like the Great Illuminary. You going up against what? Ruby Sapphire, get rid of Lucky Dime. Um, it's, drop. Well, Shishu would have already had the ETB effect, but you get the idea. I think this card's fantastic. I definitely think it's going to see play. It's just an uncommon, so for an uncommon, I feel like this is pretty strong. And yeah, I definitely like it. All right, so now we are on our favorite platform in the world, X. That's sarcasm, by the way. But this card's insane. I wanted to talk about this card. So we have the first Sapphire Legendary for the set, and it's pretty crazy. It is a Merlin, and then it is Merlin Intellectual Visionary. He's a Floodborn Mentor and a Sorcerer. He costs 6. He's non-inkable. He has 3 strength, 7 willpower with 2 lore pets. He shifts for 5. And then his effect is called Overdeveloped Brain. When you play this character, if you shift to play him, you may search your deck for any card, put that card into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. We have proper tutoring in this game now. I've been banging the drum for this since the set 1 release season. I'm so happy that we're finally getting it. The art on this card is insane, by the way, but the effect is even crazier. Being able to find anything as long as you play them via shifting is insane. Keeping him, of course, in say Ruby Sapphire, you can go for your Shisus, your Ice Blocks, your Dimes, your Be Prepareds. If you want to go top end scarier cards. A blue steel, which is seeing a lot more play. Everyone's talking about grabbing a whole new world, so you can spin that wheel. This card opens up so much potential for this game, and that's really exciting. I'm so happy that they're finally diving into cards like this. There's going to be so many like things that we can do going forward, and I'm really excited to see what else comes out of this set. Yeah, I think we've got everything. Oh, and then Prince John. All right, so then something else that Ryan revealed. I don't think I went far enough in the video, so as you can see, we are still here on the Citizens of LoreCana Twitter page. Be sure to give them a follow if you aren't following Jared. So Ryan showed off this Prince John. So he's a super rare for Sapphire, 4-cost inkable, Prince John, Gold Lover, Storyborn Villain, and Prince 3/4 with a lore pit. Beautiful, lovely taxes. You exert them, and you play an item for free from your hand, or discard what costs a 5 or less for free, and it comes in play exerted. So, though the item comes in play exerted, this card I think is actually really good for item slingers, and especially Ruby Sapphire. You can get, what is that? Yeah, I mean, you can get obviously Popsicle, Ice Block, Great Stone Dragon, Fishbone Quill. Those are probably the prominent ones because obviously Lucky Dime costs 7, so you can't grab that. But of the staple ones you're going to see, those are the main culprits. You're probably going to bring back Popsicle and then just draw a card. And then you have the ability to combo with the Flabbersham. So I definitely think this card has a lot of potential. And I think it's in a good slot for the rarity that it's in. And then something that I love is that they are partnering with Villainous. And as you can see, it has the promo symbol, and it's done, if you notice, it's done in the art style of Villainous, which it's the same card, same effect, but it's partnered. It's done in the Villainous art style, and I just think that's fantastic. And then, of course, if you're familiar with Robin Hood, you've got Prince John sucking on his thumb and sleeping with his money. So So it's going to come in the Introduction to Evil. So there's currently one out that is a Disney 100 version. It's not in that. It's going to come in a basically a re-release of a re-release. If you're not unfamiliar with Villainous, Introduction then to Evil was like the initial set, and then they re-released it last year during the Disney 100. Basically, they redid some of the figures in there with like a different paint job, I do believe. And then the big reason why they re-released it, one, to slap the Disney 100 sticker on it, but two, the initial way that Ursula plays in the base game is kind of complicated, and they wanted to kind of streamline how Ursula plays and make her a little bit easier to understand how to play. So that was like from a gameplay reason, that was the main reason they redesigned her. Um, so now they're releasing it again, the version I was just talking about, but it's going to have this Prince John promo in it. But it's the same card that comes in the set. It's just this villainous style artwork is what's going on here. So I think that's really cool. It's good company synergy for Ravensburger, and I think this card is fantastic as a Robin Hood fan. So there we have that. Is everything that we know about Set 5 Shimmering Skies of Disney Lorcana. Comes out in August, coming out so soon. Reveal season is upon us. Let me know down below what you thought, and are you excited for the set, and what card is your favorite so far? As always, be sure to give me one of these. It's super impactful. As always, you guys know what I'm about to say, but be sure to smash the subscribe button. And as always, you can follow me on the artist formerly known as Twitter on X at LoreCana Thanos. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Remember, the hardest choices require the strongest wills. Bye.